But let's talk about who's going to make the cut in the playoffs, because we know that the Bucks and the Clippers, great regular season success. We expected and had high hopes for them last year in the bubble, but both had to take those early exits in the second round. If you had to think about this season and who's really built for the playoffs, Jalen, who would you go with?
I got to go with the Clippers because I've seen Kawhi Leonard do it. He went to the East in 1 year, and one of the teams that they beat on their run with the Raptors was the Bucks because he's clutch. And one of those plays is a game-winning shot against the Sixers that had Joel Embiid in tears. I've seen Kawhi do it. Giannis struggles in close games. The Bucks are 3-8 in close games this year. He struggled shooting the three, struggled at the free throw line. They're still trying to find their identity at the end of games.
It's so interesting because we're still talking about Giannis putting up MVP numbers, but still there's a trust factor there in that postseason, Uncle P. Who would you go with? Who do you trust more in the playoffs?
Whew, man, they both have been disappointing, but I have to go with what Jalen said. The Los Angeles Clippers, I really think they're really primed this year to make a run. I'm looking at what they've been doing offensively. They're one of the great three-point shooting teams in the league. They got 2 shutdown defenders when it gets down to it. And so I just feel like the Clippers, they're going to learn from their past battles and build on that. Milwaukee, I just feel like I just don't have enough trust in them. Once the playoffs start, they show me over the last couple of years that they can't close out in the big games. And so I got to go with the Los Angeles Clippers on this one.
Yeah, Paul mentions the Clippers' ability to shoot the three this year, how well they've shot it. A big part of that is the way the ball has moved. The guys are open to shoot threes. And Ty Lue, in his first year as head coach there, I think part of what he really has sold Paul George and Kawhi Leonard on is we are going to play through you on offense, but you have got to make guys better around you. The ball's got to move. That's happened this year. And, you talk to Clipper players, you talk to management there, they love what Ty Lue has done with this team. The way one person phrased it to me, he has the ability to hold guys accountable without leaving scars. And listen, his in-game adjustments, his ability to, outside of the game as he moves forward and watching film and really being a very hands-on head coach with this group. Remember, this team has been 18-5 with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. I think for the Clippers, the coaching change to Ty Lue, they've started to see the benefit of it. And remember, this is a head coach who won a championship at Cleveland, got to the finals 3 times.
Yeah, and remember, he's the only coach in history to battle back from being down 3-1 in the finals and walk away with that victory against the Warriors. But let's switch and go over to the Bucks side. And we talked about it, the reinforcements that Giannis is going to get. You reported yesterday that Jrue Holiday will be back, and that is an important addition for this Bucks team.
Yeah, listen, they made a significant deal in the offseason to get Jrue Holiday from New Orleans. It was a big part of the reason that Giannis Antetokounmpo felt confident enough in the future of this organization to sign that extension. They've been 5-5 without Holiday, and now he comes back, and you see what this Bucks team could be with Giannis, with Chris Middleton, and obviously Holiday. And I think now, this is a team that ultimately is going to be judged on how, and its head coach Mike Budenholzer are going to be judged on how they advance in the postseason. We've seen them great in the regular season, but like the Clippers, will be judged on May, June, July.
And he's a guy that can initiate offense, so is Chris Middleton. That's why I would like to see Giannis be more of a recipient in the half court than an initiator. With him not being a three-point shooter, they're backing off of him 8.5 feet. They're physically distancing from him when he has the ball. And so when those guys can initiate the offense and he could be a screener, mover, and cutter, kind of like the Pelicans are doing with Zion, I like to see Giannis getting it more on the move.
Jrue Holiday, he's on pace to shoot at 50% from the field for the first time in his career. And you saw the numbers. They're 15-8 when he's on the court, so it's going to matter. Do you think that adding Jrue Holiday back into the fold for the Bucks, Uncle P, gives you a little bit more trust in Milwaukee?
I mean, yeah, for the regular season, but check this out. When the last time we seen a team get to the NBA Finals without a second All-Star? Chris Middleton didn't make the All-Star team this year. Jrue Holiday, he's not an All-Star. So, yeah, they got better at the point guard. Jrue, he's a competitor on the defensive end. He's a distributor. He's somebody you can trust. But I just don't see this Bucks team getting over the hump with just that move. They lack the depth. I think teams have figured out Giannis in the playoffs to where he's not going to be effective in the later rounds, and he's going to have to rely on his teammates. But are those teammates
let me ask you guys
over the hump?
I want to hear from you and Jalen. What can Giannis do then? He's averaging 25, 10, and 5. Like, what can he do to make you believe in him or get over that hump? Does it just have to happen in the postseason? Is there anything else he can do? Because he's averaging those MVP numbers.
No, absolutely. It's not just him, though. It's like, do you trust his sidekicks? Do you trust Chris Middleton when it gets tough? Who's going to be that guy down the stretch? We already know that if your star player, who is Giannis, he's not a great free throw shooter. He can't create his own shot down the stretch. Is Chris Middleton that guy that you can trust? And that's the type of guy you need in close playoff games, is a guy that you can trust. Say, hey, listen, the game is on the line. We're going to give you the ball. Can you bring us home? Can he be that guy? And we haven't seen that.
I think Giannis and this Bucks group have one more year, Maria, to break through. I'm not, as a matter of fact, as Paul on that one just yet because of the guy that's on the screen. And you're right, Paul. He wasn't an all-star because he got snubbed. Okay? If he would have took Julius Randle's spot, who, by the way, shut me up yesterday because he bullied Sabonis, he earned the spot. It happens on the floor. He got snubbed. He's one of 6 guys that's averaging 25 and 5 with a 50-40.
Yeah.
And so Chris Middleton is an all-star level player.
Middleton is an all-star level player, and so has Drew Holiday been in the Western Conference. Those 3 are good enough to help carry this Milwaukee team. Is the rest of their roster deep enough? Do they have enough? But this is a team that ultimately, and I think for Mike Budenholzer moving forward, he's got a year left on his contract. Listen, the Clippers made a move after getting knocked out early last year. Doc Rivers was out. Mike Budenholzer came back in Milwaukee. I do think his future in Milwaukee is very tied to the postseason success of this team. He's implemented a new system here. They've got time to work through it in this regular season. But I think for Budenholzer's future and being a long-term coach for this Bucks team, I think there'll be a lot of judgment on that in these playoffs.
And Maria, that's the same thing about Giannis' MVP candidacy.
Right.
It's like he's going to now be judged by what happened in the postseason. He could put up the same numbers, but his regular season narrative won't be there.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.